Hello and welcome to another video where today we're diving into the world of GPTs. And today we're going to be walking through how to connect your GPT to AirTable if you're an AirTable user. Now, I'm in a lot of communities where people are using and leveraging AirTable for automations and content generation, content workflows, and other things like that. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to show how you can do this, as I myself use another visual database platform called AITable, which is similar to Airtable, and I have a GPT, and people were wondering if you could connect Airtable. So let's go into that and showcase that. Now, before I get started, I do have another video that is the beginning video of this series, which is called What You Need to Know to Master GPTs. And that goes over the really important things about connecting your GPT to another platform or application, understanding what a schema is, understanding what an API is, and understanding what webhooks are. I'm not going to go over that too much in this video, but I would highly suggest pausing this video, going back to watch that video, and then coming back here, and everything will make a little bit more sense. Now that out the way, what we're going to be doing is creating our Airtable GPT. If you don't know what a GPT is, really quick, it's your own version of ChatGPT that you can create that has its own set of instructions, knowledge base, and it can be good at a multitude of skills or just one skill. I, once again, already have a GPT that is connected to Airtable, just to show an example of it bringing information back from an Airtable database. List me the 5 recent opportunities. So here we say talking to Airtable API, talk to API.airtable. It's going to bring in the last 5 records. And here it is, bringing information. And this is what we are going to recreate here. So what I'm going to do is click on my settings, go to my GPT, and I already had a demo here from a video that I planned on doing, but I stopped. We're restarting that, so let's start over and create our GPT here. Now, let's go into phase 1 of creating our GPT, which is really simple. We just need a profile picture, a name, and a description. So you can go grab any profile picture that you want. I simply just grabbed this one off Google. Going to come back here and insert this here. The name of this GPT can be whatever you want it to be. I'm going to name it my Airtable demo. The description is just going to be a helpful assistant that manages your Airtable databases. And that is phase 1. We've put a profile picture, we've named it, and we've gave it a description. Now we're going to move to phase 2 of our GPT, which are the instructions, conversation starters for you or other users, knowledge, and capabilities. Now, I'm not going to focus on any of these at the moment, as this video is just focusing on connecting the APIs, which you don't need to have any of these in place to do that. So really quick, we're not going to put any instructions. We're not going to put any conversation starters. We're not uploading any knowledge. And I'm going to turn off the capabilities. The reason I'm not going to do that here is because some people are going to be using this for themselves. Some people may be making this for a client, and you guys have whatever instructions that you want. Also, the same for the conversation starter and the knowledge base for files. What we want to focus on next is phase 3. So close out on this. We're going to come to phase 3, and that is the action. Right? This is the functionality of what our GPT is going to be able to do. That is going to be able to list a record, retrieve a record, create a record, update a record, and delete a record. So what we're going to do is now come back to ChatGPT. We're going to come in to create a new action. We're going to have this page here. We're just going to leave this. And now we're going to sign into Airtable. And now I'm logged into my Airtable account. These are bases that are shared with me. I'm going to come to my workspace. And these bases are pretty empty. This is a non-test for testing when I first started using a non-platform. And this is just a demo that I made for a video a while ago for a friend's platform. So what I'm going to do to get data easily generated here is I'm just going to come to templates. I'm going to pull up a template that I know works very well. All of them work very well. I'm just choosing to click on the sales pipeline template here. And we're going to try this template, which is going to import this template. We're going to close this out. And now we have our data here. Now the first step that we need to do is click on our settings icon. We need to come down here to the developer hub. And we need to generate a personal access token. Not an API key, but a personal access token. We're going to create our token. We're going to name our token. Once again, this is going to be named my Airtable demo. We need to add a scope, which is basically a permission for this API. And we're just going to have it read data for now. That's all we need. If you need anything else, if it says for some reason you're not authorized, it's probably because a scope is not added. And then we're going to pick the access. Now, I don't suggest picking all workspaces. I mean, to be honest, you actually can forget that last comment, but I'm just going to pick on sales pipeline here, and I'm going to create the token. And now this token has been generated. Now, really important, if you don't know, never share any tokens or API keys, as if somebody has that, they can do whatever they want with basically your account because they have those tokens. They can make API calls and etc. And also, you just want to keep this in a safe place. Now, what I'm going to do is duplicate this tab because we need to come here and click on Developer Docs that's on the side of this page here. And we need to come to Web API. And we're going to see bases that are shared with us and our bases or workspace. I'm going to click on Sales Pipeline. And this is going to bring you to the API page for that specific base. What we're going to do is scroll down here to authentication and just scroll down a little bit, and then it's going to kind of break down into these here: list records, retrieval record, create, update, and delete. The 5 that I said earlier. And the first one that we want to scroll down to is list records. And you'll know that it starts from right here. You can kind of see it match up. Here's the list record and the example request and the example response. Now, this is really important. This is all we need. And we're going to have ChatGPT whip this up into the schema that I talked about earlier in order for it to connect and make those API calls. But first, what we need to do is come back into our ChatGPT. We need to come back up here to authentication, click on API key. We need to click bearer because there is a authorization bearer here. And what we need to do is come copy our token and come paste that here and press save. Now what we need to do is have another tab open for ChatGPT. It doesn't matter if you're using 3.5, 4.0, or a custom GPT that's specialized to do whatever it is in terms of coding, like I showed in my last video earlier. I'm just going to leave 3.5 here because it's really fast. And to be honest, it's really accurate. And this shouldn't be a long enough schema to where I should go to 4. If I do need to, that's really no problem. But I just want to showcase that you can do this on 3.5 and you don't need a custom GPT. But if you want to use one, it may be faster. So what we need to do is come here, and what I'm going to say is I need to turn this information into a open API JSON schema. Please do not forget the operation IDs or the server URLs. Also, don't forget the components either. Sometimes when ChatGPT is making a open API schema, those are things that it forgets to include. They're common errors. You can easily fix them. Hopefully it does that. This is just a habit because I know and I've made so many. But you're going to come here and you're going to have some type of prompt like this. It's basically going to say, hey, I need to turn this information into an open API schema. And what we need actually is this example request. And usually this comes in two pieces. So you have the request and then you have the response. Going to show how this works. And you need both. It's usually better to say, I am first going to get the request and then the response. So let's regenerate this here. Don't know why that happened. It's fine. So it's going to say, hey, yeah, please do that. So I'm going to put this here. And you see how it's automatically trying to create something? That's what you don't want most of the time, right? I need you to wait for the second piece of information. Okay, so now we're going to grab the example response. And sometimes you can do this all together. I'm just wanting to showcase what might happen if you don't know that, or just in general, as if you've never done this before. So let's paste this here. And it still is like adding on, but doing it wrong. Say, no, please add this as one schema. And that schema is created. So all you have to do is come here, copy, come back into our GPT, and come copy and paste. And if it's correct, you're going to see an action pop up here. If there's an error, you're going to see something in red here, and you can usually just paste that into the chat here and say, hey, this is the error I got, and it's going to try to fix it. So let's test this and see if we can pull information from our base. So it's talking, and it talked. It was successful. That was a lot of information that it received. It's going to do all this. This is the code. I apologize for showing that response like that. It's showing, hey, this is the information that is there. So I can go, let's go back home. And what did that say? Chiron Farms. There's Chiron Farms. Right, we have Morgan's Magical Meats. Morgan's Magical Meats. So we see that it's already pulling information from here. Ta-da! We've connected our GPT to AirTable. And now we're just going to rinse and repeat for 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of these 4. So what we would do now is keep scrolling down until it's on retrieve a record. And now we have this new example request and response, right? So to retrieve a record. So all we have to do is, now I'm going to copy this as one entire, come back here and say, thank you. Can you now add this information into the schema as well? It's going to say, yep, I can do that. So we're going to have this generate. And there, that has generated. Let's copy this. Let's come back. We're going to delete, copy and paste. We have two actions. And look at this. Here is an error that we see. And that's great. I wanted that to happen. And you can type it in. You can just come here and paste and put this. And it's going to say, oh, my apologies. And already know what the error was that it did. Right. So we're going to let this regenerate again. So let's come back, copy this, backspace. And then I got another error again. Looks like the same one, but I'm not sure. So let's just put here is the error. So sometimes that's where I feel like it just gets faster as it goes. And for sure, 4 does not go this fast. Not that it's not fast in general. Obviously, it's fast, but this speed right here for 3.5 just seems incredibly great for coding. Copy. Let's come, rinse and repeat. And that error is gone now. And now we're going to get the deal by ID. So let's test. It's going to say, I need the specific deal ID. Could I provide that information? So in order to do that, what I need to actually do is add a record. I need to add a formula. Is that not popping up? Formula. And it's going to be record ID. So let's create that. That should be like instant. AirTable? Okay, sweet. So it created the record ID. So I'm gonna copy this. Let's put this here. So it talked and said, here's the information about Hephaestus Capital. So let's come back. Is this Hephaestus Capital? Yes, this is Hephaestus Capital. Forecast value 6,500. Forecast value 6,500. We have retrieved that information. All right, now let's go to the next one. Let's go to create a record. Right here we have our example request like I was talking about earlier, and then our example response. So let's grab this. Let's copy this all the way down. Make sure we're just copying it to here. Copy and paste and say, thank you. Can you continue and add this information now to the schema as well? So we're going to let it do its thing. This probably takes less than a minute. There was, I just did actually, I'm doing another video actually after this for VAPI, which is voice AI. And the schema for that actually took like 4 minutes. I've seen some pretty long schemas, and for some reason I'm like able to, I mean, they're kind of easy to read after you see them after a while, but it's kind of crazy. So let's close this. Let's put this back. And here we got our third one. Here we see create. So let's do a test. And it's going to fail because I literally didn't give any information. Or sometimes it just does it by itself. It knows how to read the API and it's just going to create something. So right, it says that there's an error. There was an issue with the permission or module not be found, so I couldn't create the sales deal. Please check the necessary permissions. Sometimes you can ask, what are, oh, do you know what it is actually? You see when I was talking about those permissions right here? Remember how I was talking about this here? If you can't do something, it's probably because of the permissions. So we're going to come back. I'm going to click on my Airtable journal, and all I can do right now is see the data. I can't create any data. Sorry, let me move this. So I'm going to come to scope. And right, like I can't create any data or do anything like that. And I need to add that. So create, edit, and delete. I believe it's that one right there that I need to do. So let's go to save changes. And let's come back and do this again. Oh no, I was wrong. Let's try one more time because I believe it is this. I think what I did last time is I just ended up putting every one because I was not sure at that time when I was testing. Oh, it's right here. I thought I had clicked it already. I'm blind. It's right there. You guys, you don't need all those. So let's come back here again. I apologize. Let's go one more time to create. Confirm. Right, so it's going to say this is not right here. The value is not recognized as a valid record. Please provide a valid record. Can you create one? I'm not sure if it's talking about this right here at the end. Now this has to be specific to this base here because let's see. I don't want to say anything and I'm wrong because Airtable, there are some things I don't know how they like work. So let me stop being lazy. Come here and get. I think this is what it's talking about here. I think I need to get a record ID from this one. Let's see if I'm right. Confirm. And there we go. It's been added. So that happened to me before and which kind of makes sense. It's just the way that Airtable works because I guess the sales ID like for that agent has to be created before like for the other base that's showing first. Hopefully I'm making sense in what I'm saying here, but we have now created a record as well. And one other cool thing, like because it's going through the APIs, it'll tell you kind of what's wrong so you can know what to do to troubleshoot. I wanted these things to happen so I can just show you guys in real time how you can kind of fix the problem and not assume that, it's not able to connect or talk in general. There are just some things that probably need to be done because, for example, the way that this base is filled out, right? How I had to go to the sales reps. Like, I'm pretty sure these deals don't happen without the reps, which is why I needed the ID of the rep in order to create this deal for that to make sense. I'm assuming that's what happened there. So let's continue. We can go with update record. So I want to make sure I'm on the right one. We're scrolling down. This is where this starts right here. So let's grab this. We're going to grab the response as well, which actually is not that long. Copy. Come back. Thank you. Can you now add this new information? So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, 11 Mississippi, 12 Mississippi, 13 Mississippi, 14 Mississippi, 15 Mississippi, 16 Mississippi, 17 Mississippi, 18 Mississippi, 19 Mississippi, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24 seconds. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So we're going to come back here and we're going to do the same thing, right? Gonna delete all of that stuff. And now we have another one. So what do we have? We had get, we had create. Oh, we're doing this one right here, update. So let's do this. And it's going to update this most recent record right here, probably new deal. It says, it looks like there was an error with the request to update the sales deal. The system expects an array of up to 10 records. It's saying, I just want to update the weighted value of the last record. The weighted value is a computed field, which means it can't be. Oh, which makes sense. I can't edit that field. So let me pick a field that I can edit, which may be the forecast value. Let's change the forecast value. Let's do 90,000. And this has been updated to 90,000. And I'm pretty sure that was for the one that we just did, which was the name was New Deal, right? New Deal, 90,000. There we go. So what do we have next? We have update, and now we just have the last one. We have delete. We got here actually pretty fast. So let's make sure we're down here. And this one is actually pretty simple for a record. Let's copy. Thank you. Can you now add this last piece of information? So that's there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we're on the last one. Be done in about 6 more seconds. Bam. So let's come back up here. Let's copy this code. Let's delete. Now delete is here, and it's most likely going to delete that last record that we were playing with, which was the new deal. Oh, it needs to know the most recent. So it's going to say talked. I'm not sure why. Response. Chiron Farms. I think for some reason it grabbed, it did like this first one, which was to get most of the records, and then tried to do that. So that's fine. Let's just come grab this record ID. And there's actually better ways to do this instead of just individually grabbing the record ID. I'm doing this for the sake of this video. You can upload a spreadsheet of your database and, like make hotkeys and words that are related so it already knows what that is and other things. There's multiple ways, but yeah. All right, so it says deletion of the most recent sale has been done. This record, new deal, should be gone. It probably still is here because this probably wasn't the one that was deleted. It probably deleted another one. Oh no, so it gave an error, whatever that record was. I'm not sure why it did that, but we know that it for sure can delete. And we've done all 5 of the basic ones, and I got around the 30-minute mark where I wanted to hopefully have this video end at. It's not too long. I hope this made sense. I hope it wasn't too hard. That is how you can connect your Airtable base or bases to your GPT, or a GPT that you're making for your client, or a GPT that you just have out there in the GPT store to track data. You can use this to actually authenticate people if they're not in your database or spreadsheet, whether they're free users or not, or however you may want to do that. Maybe you are using Airtable for content creation or generation, and you want to automatically use ChatGPT for ideas and put that inside of there, or have links and automatically have automation workflows populate and do other things. I hope this was a nice and interesting video. The next video, we're going to be showing how to connect a GPT to VAPI, which is voice AI. And we're also going to be showing how to connect a GPT to Airtable, which is an alternative to, we're going to be connecting to AI Table, which is an alternative to Airtable. Sorry about that mix up. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and see you soon.